everybody. Happy Tuesday. Um, I don't know about you, but if you have been at home with a house full of kids recently, then you have probably had some Nerf wars going on. And the funniest thing is about Nerf wars is that kids, you have to play hide and seek because that's how you you hide from your brother or sister, and then but at the strangest thing happened the other day was because one of them hid, and then nobody actually came to find them. And that's sort of the saddest thing about hide and seek is that you actually hide, um, initially hoping to not be like seen, but then you get really disappointed if you don't get seen after a long time. And so that was sort of the thing that happened. So I sort of felt sorry for this child of mine. And it got me thinking about some different types of hiding that occur in scriptures. And another funny story, actually, like a really inspiring story. I want to start a practical thing that happened recently. I want to tell you about, to say about this hiding bit. And that is, a couple months ago, I was going up to London for graduate school, and I was late because my train was late, and I got in like right as the worship service was starting, because we have that before we have academic classes. And I came in late, and I didn't even look at the stage or anything, and I was in the back, and there was like a really tall 6 foot something guy in front of me, so I couldn't see who was leading worship. And I came right at the very beginning, before the worship leader opened his mouth, and all I could see was the back of this other man's head, and this person from up front opened his mouth with the most gorgeous voice I have ever seen. And I was like, like looking around trying to see who it was, because I was like, I don't recognize this person's voice, because we have different people take turns. And so basically at the sort of towards about 2/3 the way through, I got a peek, and I saw the face of this guy who he was a second year like me, but really, really quiet. And for a year and a half has never led worship at our school. And I just was like in awe of his voice. It was like angelic. It was just like, it was so magnetic. And I just thought, that is like a gift of an angel. Like, where did this guy come out of hiding from? And so anyway, so we finished worship, and I ended up going to class, but I couldn't stop thinking about him. And I was like praying for him. I was like, God, where did this voice come from? He's just like the quietest little guy, I don't even know his name. And I just felt like God was like, he's been a little bit hiding. I've been like protecting this gift. And I don't know that that was actually like God's voice in my head, but that was like what I kept thinking, is that, that this young man, for a season was being hidden, but that that day, that God was actually releasing him and doing something amazing and awesome, and allowing like his gifts to be showcased. And I thought, that's sort of like how, anyway, so I ended up going up to him at lunch and saying, hi, I know you don't know me, but I just have to say that, and I kind of shared what I just said with him, and he was just so overwhelmed. And I said, God's going to use your voice and your obedience. You have maybe thought that you, weren't fulfilling the call, but I was like, now everyone knows, and the time is right, and God, it looks like he's just now gonna, like, you're gonna do just amazing things, and people know what gift you have. And so I started thinking about this timing thing that, so often, whatever it is we want to do, and you don't have to be like doing something specifically for the church, but whatever this thing is that you feel like you were made for, in any realm, in medicine or teaching or as a musician or whatnot, that so often we feel like, gosh, God, why is it not like, why is nothing happening? Why am I not able to do the thing that I feel like you called me to do? And I thought about this young man this morning, and then I thought about so many places in scripture where God for a season hides people right before they're getting ready to do something extraordinary for him. And if you think about Moses, he was hid in the desert for several years. If you think about Joseph, he was imprisoned, being falsely accused, and God hid him there right before a huge season of where he came out of prison, and he was able to help the Israelites and the Egyptians in a real severe famine. And King David, who we know was hated by his predecessor, King Saul. Saul wanted to kill him, and God hid him in some caves for a season before David became Israel's first true king. And also, we know him as a man after God's own heart. And I thought, God is in this business of sometimes we go through seasons where we feel totally unseen, totally unutilized, and God is just like, no, I'm holding you in that space, preparing your heart so that when the time does come where you are released, that it will be extraordinary, that you will be mature, that your heart will be in it for the right reason, and that you will be ready to go. And so hang in there if you are just obediently, preparing and studying and learning and, serving in like these, what seem to be really small areas. They are not small. God says that those who are faithful with little things will be faithful with great things. So be patient and wait for Him, because it will be so worth it. God bless, and see you tomorrow.